They're going to kill them all. The words screamed inside Ariel Brooks' head as she watched 5 men with rifles move into position outside the rusty chain bar. Her hands shook. She couldn't hear their voices, couldn't hear the click of their weapons, but she could see murder in their eyes. 13 years old, deaf since birth, invisible to everyone in Cinder Valley, Nevada. But not today. Today she had to run. Today she had to save them. Before we continue, please subscribe to our channel and stay with me until the end of the story. Comment what city you're watching from. I want to see how far this story travels. Now let's begin. Ariel's sneakers hit the desert pavement hard. She didn't know she was running until her lungs began to burn. The afternoon sun scorched the back of her neck and sweat poured down her temples, but she couldn't stop. Wouldn't stop. 3 miles. That's how far she'd walk from school when she saw them. 3 miles back to warn people who'd never spoken a word to her. Her backpack slammed against her spine with each stride. The world around her moved in complete silence, it always had. But today, that silence felt different. Heavier, like it was pressing down on her chest trying to crush the air from her lungs. She'd been taking the long way home again. Always the long way. Anything to avoid her mother's new boyfriend and his constant yelling that Ariel couldn't hear, but could feel vibrating through the thin trailer walls. The desert road had been empty, except for the heat waves rising from the asphalt and the occasional tumbleweeds. Then she'd seen the white van. It had been parked behind the old abandoned gas station half hidden from the main road. Ariel had almost walked past it, almost, but something made her look. Maybe it was the way the van sat too deliberately placed, too carefully angled. Or maybe it was the glint of metal she caught in the side mirror. She'd crouched behind a rusted dumpster, her heart already beginning to race. 5 men, all dressed in black tactical gear, all carrying rifles. Ariel had watched them check their weapons, watched them pull out a map, watched one of them point toward the rusty chain bar 300 yards up the road. She couldn't hear what they were saying, but she could read their body language, could see the way they moved with military precision, could see the determination in their faces. These men were here to kill. The rusty chain bar, where the Hells Angels gathered every Tuesday and Thursday, where she'd seen the bikers for years, their motorcycles lined up like chrome soldiers outside the weathered building, where they'd never noticed her walking past, where they'd never once looked her way. Ariel had pulled back behind the dumpster, her mind racing faster than her heart. She should run home, call the police, let someone else handle this. But her phone was dead. It had died during lunch and she'd forgotten to charge it the night before. And home was 3 miles in the opposite direction. And the police station was even farther. And by the time anyone came, those men would have walked into that bar and opened fire. 30 bikers. She'd counted them last week. 30 men who would die if she did nothing. So she'd run. Now her legs pumped beneath her like pistons. Her throat was raw, even though she couldn't hear herself gasping for air. The backpack straps cut into her shoulders, but she didn't slow down. Couldn't slow down. The rusty chain bar appeared in the distance. The motorcycles gleamed in the sunlight, rows and rows of them. Beautiful machines that their owners polished with the same care most people reserved for children. Ariel's vision blurred with sweat and tears, her side cramped. Her legs screamed, but she kept running, 200 yards. She could see the bar's faded wooden signs swinging slightly in the desert wind. Could see the windows dark and reflective against the sun. Could see a figure moving inside, 100 yards. What was she going to do? Burst through the door and start signing frantically? These men didn't know sign language, didn't know her. Would they even believe her 50 yards? Her foot caught on a crack in the pavement. She stumbled, nearly fell, caught herself with her hands scraping against the rough ground. Blood bloomed across her palms. She didn't care. She pushed herself up and kept running. The door to the rusty chain bar was solid oak reinforced with iron bands. Ariel hit it with both hands, shoving it open with the last of her strength. The bar fell silent. Not that Ariel could hear the silence, but she could feel it. Could see it in the way every head turned toward her. Could see it in the way conversations stopped mid-sentence, beer bottles frozen halfway to lips, pool cues suspended mid-shot. 30 pairs of eyes, all on her. Ariel had never been inside the rusty chain bar, had never even stood close to the entrance. The building had always felt like a fortress, intimidating and impenetrable. Now standing in the doorway, she realized how small she was in comparison to everything and everyone around her. The bikers were enormous. Leather vests stretched across broad shoulders. Tattoos covered every visible inch of skin. Beards hung down to chests. These were not men who looked kindly on interruptions. At the far end of the bar, a man stood up. He was taller than the others, his presence commanding even in stillness. Salt and pepper hair pulled back in a ponytail, a scar running from his left eyebrow to his jawline, eyes the color of steel. Griffin Burklaw Varner, road captain of the Hells Angels Nevada chapter. Ariel had seen him before on her walks, had watched him from a distance, noting the way other bikers deferred to him, the way he moved with absolute authority. Now those steel gray eyes were locked on her. Burklaw's mouth moved. He was saying something. The other bikers turned to look at him, then back at her. Ariel's hands shook as she reached into her backpack. Her fingers fumbled past textbooks and notebooks until she found what she needed. A marker. A small whiteboard she used for communicating with teachers who didn't know sign language. She uncapped the marker with trembling fingers and wrote in large, desperate letters. Armed men outside. 5 of them. Rifles. They're going to kill you. She held up the whiteboard. The bar remained frozen. Every eye read her message. Nobody moved. Then Burklaw's expression changed. Not panic, not fear. Something harder, something colder. He raised one hand, made a gesture. The bikers exploded into motion. It was choreographed chaos. Men moved to windows staying low. Others disappeared into back rooms. Someone killed the lights. Someone else locked the front door behind Ariel. Ariel stood in the sudden dimness. Her whiteboard still raised her heart, hammering so hard she thought it might burst. A hand touched her shoulder. She spun around. Burklaw stood behind her. Up close, he was even more intimidating. 6'4" at least. Shoulders like a linebacker. But his touch on her shoulder had been gentle. His mouth moved slowly, deliberately. He was trying to make it easier for her to read his lips. How many? Ariel held up 5 fingers. Where? She pointed back toward the road, tried to sign, but her hands were shaking too badly. She grabbed her whiteboard instead and wrote, behind old gas station, white van, black tactical gear, 300 yards. Burklaw read the message. His jaw tightened. He turned to a biker nearby, a massive man with a red beard that hung to his chest, and his mouth moved rapidly. Redbeard nodded and disappeared into a back room. Another biker appeared at Burklaw's side. Younger, maybe 30, with sleeve tattoos and a diamond stud in his left ear. Burklaw's mouth moved. The younger biker's eyes widened. He looked at Ariel, then back at Burklaw, then pulled out his phone. Ariel's legs finally gave out. She slumped against the wall, sliding down until she sat on the floor. Her backpack fell beside her. Her whiteboard clattered against the wood. She'd done it. She'd warned them. Now what? Burklaw crouched in front of her. His massive frame filled her vision. He held out his hand, palm up, asking for her whiteboard. Ariel handed it to him. He wrote something and turned it around. You deaf, she nodded. He wrote again. You just saved 30 lives. Stay here. Stay low. Ariel's eyes burned with tears she didn't understand. Relief, fear, exhaustion. Burklaw stood and moved to a window. He peered through a crack in the blinds, his body tense and ready. The younger biker with the phone was gesturing wildly. Ariel couldn't hear him, but she could see the urgency in his movements. He was calling someone, police, other bikers. Redbeard emerged from the back room carrying something long and dark, a shotgun. He moved to another window, his movements calm and practiced. These men weren't afraid. They were angry. Ariel wrapped her arms around her knees and tried to make herself smaller. This wasn't her world. These weren't her people. She was just a deaf 13-year-old who should have minded her own business. But 30 men would have died. The thought kept circling through her mind. 30 men. Fathers maybe, brothers, sons, men who laughed and drank beer and rode motorcycles on sunny afternoons. Dead. All dead, because she'd seen something and said nothing. A vibration ran through the floor. Ariel felt it before she understood what it meant. The bikers felt it too. Several of them tensed hands, moving to weapons she couldn't see. Then she understood. Motorcycles, engines rumbling, more bikers arriving. Through the window she could see them. At least a dozen motorcycles pulling into the parking lot. More men in leather vests dismounting, moving with purpose toward the bar. Burklaw unlocked the front door. The newcomers filed in and Burklaw's mouth moved rapidly. He pointed at Ariel. Every new arrival turned to look at her. Ariel shrank further into herself. One of the newcomers, an older man with white hair and a face like weathered leather, walked over to where she sat. He lowered himself down with a grunt, sitting cross-legged on the floor beside her. His mouth moved slowly. "Thank you." Ariel didn't know what to do, didn't know what to say. She'd never been thanked for anything in her life. The old biker smiled. It transformed his harsh features into something almost grandfatherly. He patted her knee once, then pushed himself back to his feet and rejoined the others. The younger biker with the phone was still talking rapidly. He kept glancing at his watch, then at Burklaw, then back at his phone. Burklaw wrote something on a piece of paper and handed it to Redbeard. Redbeard nodded and disappeared out the back door with two other bikers. Minutes crawled by, or maybe it was only seconds. Ariel couldn't tell anymore. Time felt broken, stretched, and compressed simultaneously. Then flashing lights, red and blue, strobed through the windows. Police, sheriff, multiple vehicles from what Ariel could see. Burklaw's shoulders relaxed slightly. He walked back to where Ariel sat and crouched down again. He held out his hand. Ariel took it. His palm was calloused and warm. He pulled her gently to her feet. He picked up her whiteboard and wrote, "Sheriff, here. You need to tell them what you saw." Ariel's stomach dropped. Tell them how they wouldn't understand her signs. They wouldn't have patience for her whiteboard. They'd look at her the way everyone else did, with pity or frustration or both. Burklaw must have seen the fear in her face. He wrote again, "I'll stay with you." The front door opened. A sheriff's deputy stepped inside, hand on his weapon, eyes scanning the room. Behind him came Sheriff Tom Bradshaw, a man Ariel recognized from around town. Gray-haired, pot-bellied, with kind eyes that had always seemed tired. Sheriff Bradshaw's eyes landed on Burklaw first. His mouth moved. Burklaw's mouth moved in response. Back and forth. A conversation Ariel couldn't follow. Then both men turned to look at her. Sheriff Bradshaw walked over. He moved slowly, carefully, like he was approaching a skittish animal. When he reached Ariel, he pulled a small notepad from his pocket and a pen. He wrote, "Can you tell me what you saw?" Ariel took the pen with trembling fingers. She wrote everything. The white van, the 5 men, the tactical gear, the rifles, the way they checked their weapons, the way one had pointed toward the bar. Sheriff Bradshaw read her account twice. His expression grew darker with each word. He wrote, "Can you show me where?" Ariel nodded. They walked outside together. Ariel, Sheriff Bradshaw, Burklaw, and 4 deputies. The afternoon sun was beginning to sink toward the horizon, painting the desert in shades of orange and gold. Ariel led them down the road. Her legs still ached from her earlier sprint. Her palms still stung where she'd scraped them. But she walked anyway, one foot in front of the other, until they reached the abandoned gas station. The white van was gone. Ariel's heart sank. They wouldn't believe her now. They'd think she'd made it up. A deaf girl, desperate for attention. But Sheriff Bradshaw was already on his radio. His mouth moved rapidly. 2 deputies jogged back toward their vehicles. Burklaw touched Ariel's shoulder. When she looked up at him, he pointed down at the ground. Tire tracks, fresh ones, deep grooves in the dirt where a heavy vehicle had sat and then peeled out quickly. And something else. Shell casings, 3 of them glinting in the fading sunlight. Sheriff Bradshaw bagged the casings with gloved hands. He wrote on his notepad, "We'll find them." 20 minutes later, they did. Ariel was back at the Rusty Chain Bar when the radio call came in. She couldn't hear it, but she could see the reaction. Sheriff Bradshaw's face split into a grim smile. He nodded, spoke into his radio, nodded again. He walked over to where Ariel sat at the bar. The bikers had given her a Coke and a bag of chips, though she'd barely touched either, and wrote on his notepad, "Got them. All 5. Pulled them over 10 miles north. Van full of weapons and a hit list. Your names were on it." He turned the notepad to show Burklaw. Burklaw's expression didn't change, but something flickered in his steel gray eyes. Relief, rage, both. Sheriff Bradshaw wrote more. "You saved lives today. Yours, theirs, everyone's." He pointed at Ariel, then at the bikers, then at himself. Ariel didn't feel like a hero. She felt like a girl who needed to throw up. Her hands shook so badly she had to set down her Coke before she spilled it. The old, white-haired biker appeared beside her. He placed a hand on her shoulder gently, the way her grandfather used to before he died. His mouth moved. "Breathe, just breathe." Ariel tried, in through her nose, out through her mouth, in, out. Sheriff Bradshaw stayed for another hour taking statements from everyone. Ariel wrote out her account 3 more times, each version more detailed than the last. Her hand cramped from gripping the pen, but she kept writing. When Sheriff Bradshaw finally left, the sun had set completely. Desert darkness fell like a curtain. Through the windows, Ariel could see stars beginning to emerge, thousands of them, more than she'd ever seen in the city. Burklaw appeared beside her with her backpack. He'd picked it up from where she'd dropped it by the door. He held it out to her along with her whiteboard. He'd written something new. "You need a ride home." Ariel nodded. The thought of walking 3 miles in the dark made her want to cry. Burklaw gestured to Redbeard. The massive biker disappeared and returned moments later with a helmet. A helmet. Ariel had never been on a motorcycle in her life. Her mother had always said they were death traps, had forbidden Ariel from even thinking about them. But Burklaw was already walking toward the door, clearly expecting her to follow. Ariel grabbed her backpack and hurried after him. Outside, the night air was cool against her skin. The parking lot was still full of motorcycles, chrome glinting under the streetlights. Bikers stood in small groups, talking, smoking, checking their phones. Every one of them stopped and watched as Burklaw led Ariel to his bike. It was beautiful, all black chrome and leather with intricate silver detailing along the gas tank. The Hells Angels insignia was painted on both sides, a skull with wings. Burklaw took the helmet from Redbeard and placed it gently on Ariel's head. It was too big, but he adjusted the straps until it fit snugly. He mounted the bike first, then held out his hand to help Ariel climb on behind him. She'd never been this close to another person before. Never wrapped her arms around someone's waist, never pressed her body against someone else's back. It felt strange, vulnerable, safe. Burklaw glanced back at her. His mouth moved, "Hold tight." Then the engine roared to life. Ariel couldn't hear it, but she could feel it. The vibration ran through every bone in her body. Powerful, alive, like riding a mechanical heartbeat. They pulled out of the parking lot. The wind whipped past Ariel's face. The desert landscape blurred on either side. Stars wheeled overhead. For the first time in her 13 years of silence, Ariel felt like she was part of the world, instead of just watching it from the outside. The ride to her trailer took 7 minutes. Burklaw pulled up outside the faded blue single-wide, where Ariel lived with her mother. Lights were on inside. Her mother's boyfriend's truck was parked crookedly in the dirt driveway. Ariel's stomach tightened. She didn't want to go inside. Didn't want to face the questions she wouldn't be able to hear. Didn't want to see her mother's new boyfriend's face twisted in anger over something Ariel had or hadn't done. Burklaw must have sensed her hesitation. He turned on the bike to face her and pulled out his phone. He typed something and showed her the screen. "You safe here?" The question hit Ariel like a punch to the chest. No one had ever asked her that before. Not teachers, not counselors, not even her own mother. She wanted to say no, wanted to tell him about the yelling she felt through the walls, about the way her mother's boyfriend looked at her sometimes, about the way she'd started taking the long way home to avoid being there. But what could Burklaw do? He was a biker, an outlaw, not a social worker. Ariel nodded. The lie tasted bitter even though she couldn't speak it aloud. Burklaw studied her face for a long moment. Those steel gray eyes saw too much, understood too much. He typed again. "If you ever need anything, rusty chain, ask for me." Ariel took off the helmet and handed it back. Burklaw accepted it but didn't put it away. Instead, he reached into his vest pocket and pulled out something small. A patch. It was embroidered with silver thread on black fabric. 2 wings spread wide. Between them, a single word, "Guardian." Burklaw pressed the patch into Ariel's hand and closed her fingers around it. His mouth moved slowly. "You're one of us now." Then he was gone. The motorcycle pulled away in a rumble. Ariel felt in her chest. She stood in the dirt driveway, the patch clutched tight in her fist, and watched until his taillights disappeared into the darkness. When Ariel finally turned toward the trailer, her mother was standing in the doorway. Her mouth was moving rapidly. Angry words Ariel couldn't hear, demanding to know where she'd been, who that man was, why she was so late. Ariel walked past her mother without responding, went to her tiny bedroom, closed the door. She sat on her bed and opened her fist. The guardian patch gleamed in the lamplight. 2 wings, 1 word. For the first time in her life, Ariel Brooks felt like she mattered. She didn't know that outside 3 blocks away, Burklaw had pulled over. Didn't know that he was making a phone call. Didn't know that he was telling the Hells Angels Nevada charter president about a deaf 13-year-old girl who'd saved 30 lives. Didn't know that her life was about to change in ways she couldn't possibly imagine. All she knew was that she'd done something good, something brave, something that mattered, and tomorrow she'd do it again if she had to. Ariel woke to her mother shaking her shoulder violently. The morning light cut through the thin curtains. Her mother's face was inches from hers, mouth moving in rapid, angry bursts. Ariel sat up, rubbing her eyes. Her mother shoved a phone in her face. The screen showed a news article. The headline read, "5 armed men arrested in plot to attack local bar." Her mother's mouth kept moving. Faster now, angrier. Ariel caught fragments by reading her lips. "Police here last night." Questions. "What did you do?" Ariel's stomach twisted. She reached for her whiteboard on the nightstand, but her mother slapped it away. It clattered to the floor. Her mother grabbed Ariel's chin, forcing eye contact. Her mouth formed words slowly, deliberately. "Did you do this?" Ariel nodded. Her mother's face went white, then red, then white again. She released Ariel's chin and stormed out of the room, slamming the door so hard the wall shook. Ariel picked up her whiteboard from the floor. The corner was cracked. She sat on the edge of her bed, holding it, trying to steady her breathing. The door burst open again. Her mother's boyfriend filled the doorway. Dale, 6'2", beer gut arms covered in faded tattoos that weren't the good kind. His mouth moved. "You brought cops to my house." Ariel shrank back against the headboard. Dale stepped into the room. His face was flushed. A vein pulsed in his temple. "Those were my guys, my crew. You got them arrested." The words took a moment to register. Then they hit like ice water. His guys, his crew, the 5 men with rifles, the men who were going to murder 30 bikers. Dale's crew. Ariel's heart hammered against her ribs. She looked past Dale to where her mother stood in the hallway, arms crossed. Face turned away, Dale's mouth kept moving. "Do you know what you've done? Do you have any idea what happens now?" Ariel grabbed her whiteboard, wrote with shaking hands, "They were going to kill people." Dale read it, laughed. It was an ugly sound Ariel was glad she couldn't hear. He ripped the whiteboard from her hands and threw it across the room. It hit the wall and broke in half. Ariel's blood went cold. Dale leaned in close. His breath probably smelled like stale beer and cigarettes. His mouth moved slowly. "You better pray they don't make bail, because if they do, you're the first person they're coming for." Then he was gone. Her mother followed without looking back. The door slammed again. Ariel sat frozen on her bed. Her mind raced. Dale knew those men, was probably part of whatever they'd been planning, which meant she was living with someone who wanted the Hells Angels dead, which meant she wasn't safe here, had never been safe here. She looked at the broken whiteboard on the floor, at the guardian patch she'd placed on her nightstand before falling asleep, at the window where morning sunlight streamed through. She couldn't stay here. Not anymore. Ariel grabbed her backpack, stuffed it with clothes, her phone charger, the guardian patch, and the little bit of money she'd saved from babysitting, $43. She changed into jeans and a hoodie, tied her sneakers. Then she climbed out her bedroom window. The desert morning was cool. Ariel's breath made small clouds. She couldn't see herself exhale. She dropped from the window ledge to the ground and started walking. She didn't know where she was going. Just away. Away from Dale. Away from her mother who'd chosen a man over her own daughter. Away from danger. Her feet carried her toward town, toward the rusty chain bar. The walk took 40 minutes. By the time Ariel arrived, her legs ached and her stomach growled. The parking lot was empty except for 2 motorcycles. The bar's windows were dark. Ariel tried the front door. Locked. She sat down on the wooden steps and waited. She didn't know what else to do. 20 minutes passed. Then a motorcycle pulled into the lot. Redbeard, the massive biker with the beard down to his chest. He killed the engine and pulled off his helmet. When he saw Ariel, his eyebrows shot up. His mouth moved. "Kid, what are you doing here?" Ariel had no whiteboard. She tried to sign, but her hands were shaking too badly. She pulled out her phone instead and typed, "I can't go home. Dale is one of them. The men who were going to attack you. He said they'll come for me if they make bail." Redbeard read the message. His expression went from concerned to furious in seconds. He pulled out his own phone and made a call. Talked rapidly while looking at Ariel. Hung up. Typed on his phone and showed her Burke Claw is on his way. Don't move. 15 minutes later, 3 motorcycles roared into the parking lot. Burke Claw, the old white-haired biker from yesterday, and a woman, the first female biker Ariel had seen. She was maybe 50 with short gray hair and arms roped with muscle. Burke Claw strode over to where Ariel sat. He crouched in front of her and held out his phone. She typed out everything about waking up, about Dale, about her mother, about climbing out the window. Burke Claw's jaw tightened with each sentence. When she finished, he stood and showed the phone to the others. The woman biker's face went hard. She pulled out her phone and made a call, talked for 2 minutes, hung up and typed something on Burke Claw's phone to show Ariel, "You're not going back there." "Ever." Ariel's eyes burned. She nodded. The old white-haired biker, his phone screen said his name was Silver, typed, "You hungry?" Ariel nodded again. They took her inside the rusty chain. The woman biker, her name was Donna, road name Ironside, made eggs and toast in the small kitchen. Ariel ate like she hadn't seen food in days. While she ate, Burke Claw made phone calls. Lots of them. Ariel watched his face grow darker with each conversation. Finally, he sat down across from Ariel, typed on his phone Dale Hutchins. "Your mother's boyfriend. He's got a record. Assault, drug trafficking, known associate of the Iron Crusaders." Ariel frowned. Type back, "Who are the Iron Crusaders?" Burke Claw's expression was grim. "Rival MC, motorcycle club. They've been trying to muscle into our territory for months. Those 5 men, Iron Crusaders. This was a hit. They were going to kill us and take over." Ariel's stomach dropped. She'd stumbled into the middle of a war. Silver sat down beside Burke Claw. Typed, "The sheriff needs to know about Dale." Burke Claw nodded. Typed to Ariel, "You willing to tell the sheriff what Dale said?" Ariel hesitated. If she did that, Dale would know. He'd be even angrier, even more dangerous. But what choice did she have? Go back and pretend everything was fine. Wait for the Iron Crusaders to make bail and come looking for her, she typed. Yes. Sheriff Bradshaw arrived an hour later. He brought a woman with him, a social worker named Mrs. Chen. Young, maybe 30, with kind eyes and a gentle smile. They sat in the bar's back office. Sheriff Bradshaw asked questions. Ariel typed out answers on her phone. Mrs. Chen took notes. When Ariel got to the part about Dale, saying, "My guys, my crew," Sheriff Bradshaw's pen stopped moving. He looked up at Burke Claw, who stood leaning against the doorframe. Sheriff Bradshaw's mouth moved. "Dale Hutchins is connected to the Iron Crusaders." Burke Claw nodded. Sheriff Bradshaw muttered something under his breath, wrote more notes, asked more questions. When they finished, Mrs. Chen typed on her phone, "You can't go home. Not with Dale there. I'm going to place you in emergency foster care." Ariel's chest tightened. Foster care. She'd heard horror stories from kids at school. Homes where nobody wanted you. Families who only took kids for the monthly check. Mrs. Chen must have seen the fear in Ariel's face. She typed again. "Just temporarily. Until we can sort this out. I promise I'll find you somewhere safe." Ariel had no choice. She nodded. But before Mrs. Chen could stand, Burke Claw pushed off from the doorframe. He typed on his phone and showed it to the social worker. "What if we have a better option?" Mrs. Chen frowned, typed back. "What kind of option?" Burke Claw looked at Donna. Some silent communication passed between them. Donna nodded. Burke Claw typed, "Donna's been a licensed foster parent for 6 years. 3 bedrooms. Clean record. References up the wazoo. What if Ariel stayed with her?" Mrs. Chen's eyebrows rose. She looked at Donna. Typed, "Is this something you'd be willing to do?" Donna didn't hesitate. She typed, "Absolutely." Ariel stared at these people. These bikers. These strangers who owed her nothing. Who were offering her a home. Mrs. Chen chewed her bottom lip. Typed, "I'd have to run a background check. Inspect the home. Interview references. Standard procedure." Burke Claw typed, "How long, Mrs. Chen?" "If I prioritize it, maybe 48 hours. Burke Claw, where does she stay until then?" Mrs. Chen hesitated. Typed, "There's a group home in Reno. It's not ideal," but Donna's hands moved rapidly on her phone. "No. She stays with me tonight. You can inspect my place right now. I've got nothing to hide." Mrs. Chen looked at Sheriff Bradshaw. He shrugged. His mouth moved. Donna's good people. Been fostering kids for years. Never had a single complaint. Mrs. Chen sighed, typed, "Okay, let's go see your place." They all climbed into Sheriff Bradshaw's SUV. Ariel, Mrs. Chen, Donna, and the sheriff. Burklaw and the others followed on their motorcycles. Donna's house was 10 minutes outside Cinder Valley, a small ranch-style home with a fenced yard and solar panels on the roof. Inside, it was clean and comfortable. 3 bedrooms, like Burklaw had said. One was clearly Donna's, another was set up as an office. The third had bunk beds and a dresser. Mrs. Chen inspected everything, checked smoke detectors, looked in the fridge, asked questions. Finally, she typed to Donna, "I'll fast-track the paperwork. She can stay here tonight. I'll be back tomorrow with the official documentation." Donna smiled, typed to Ariel, "Welcome home, kid." Ariel couldn't speak, couldn't sign, could only nod as tears streamed down her face. After Mrs. Chen and Sheriff Bradshaw left, Burklaw pulled Ariel aside. He typed, "You did good telling them about Dale, real good. But you need to understand something." Ariel waited. "Burklaw, the Iron Crusaders don't forget, and they don't forgive. Dale's going to be questioned, maybe arrested. And when that happens, his crew is going to know who talked." Ariel's stomach clenched. What does that mean? "Burklaw, it means you're going to need protection, real protection, and we're going to give it to you." That night, Ariel lay in the bottom bunk of Donna's spare bedroom. The sheets smelled like lavender detergent. Through the window, she could see stars. She pulled out the guardian patch and held it up to the moonlight. 2 wings, 1 word. A knock on the door. Ariel sat up. Donna entered carrying a mug of hot chocolate. She set it on the nightstand and sat on the edge of the bed. Pulled out her phone and typed, "Can't sleep." Ariel shook her head. "Donna, too much happening." Ariel nodded. Donna was quiet for a moment. Then she typed, "I lost my daughter 8 years ago. Drunk driver. She was 16. After that, I couldn't stand the empty house. Started fostering. Figured if I couldn't save my own kid, maybe I could save someone else's." Ariel's throat tightened. "Donna, what I'm saying is you're not a burden. You're not temporary. You're not a charity case. You're a kid who deserves better than what you got. And I'm going to make damn sure you get it." Ariel reached out and hugged Donna. The older woman stiffened for a second, then wrapped her arms around Ariel and held on tight. The next morning, Ariel woke to sunlight and the smell of bacon. She found Donna in the kitchen making breakfast. When Donna saw her, she smiled and pointed to the table. Ariel sat. Donna brought over pancakes, eggs, and bacon. More food than Ariel usually ate in a day. While they ate, Donna's phone buzzed. She checked it. Her expression changed. She typed quickly and showed Ariel, "Dale was arrested an hour ago. Conspiracy to commit murder. He's not making bail." Ariel's fork clattered to her plate. Typed, "What about my mom?" Donna, being questioned, didn't know about the plot, apparently, but CPS is investigating. "She chose Dale over protecting you. That's not going to look good." Ariel didn't know what to feel. Relief, sadness, anger, all of it. None of it. Donna reached across the table and squeezed Ariel's hand. That afternoon, Mrs. Chen returned with paperwork. Donna was officially cleared for emergency foster placement. Ariel was officially in her care. But there was more news. Mrs. Chen typed the 5 Iron Crusaders from the attack. One of them cut a deal. Gave up names. Turns out, this was bigger than we thought. They were planning multiple hits. Your bar was just the first. Ariel's eyes widened. How many, Mrs. Chen? At least 3 more locations. Other Hells Angels chapters across Nevada. You stopping them didn't just save 30 lives. You saved over 100. The weight of those words pressed down on Ariel's chest. Mrs. Chen continued, "The Iron Crusaders' leadership is furious. They're calling for retaliation. The FBI is getting involved." Burklaw, who'd been standing quietly in the corner, stepped forward. Typed on his phone, "Which is why we're moving up the timeline." Mrs. Chen frowned. "What timeline?" Burklaw looked at Donna. Donna nodded. Burklaw typed, "Saturday, we're having a ride. Every Hells Angels chapter in Nevada, Arizona, California, all coming here to honor Ariel." Ariel's heart stopped. Typed, "What, why Burklaw?" "Because you're a hero, because you saved our brothers, because you deserve to be recognized." "Ariel, how many people?" Burklaw's smile was grim. Last count 500 bikers. Ariel couldn't breathe. 500. 500 Hells Angels. Coming to Cinder Valley. For her. Mrs. Chen typed, "Is that safe?" with the Iron Crusaders threatening retaliation. Burklaw, "That's exactly why we're doing it. Show of force. Let them know we protect our own. And Ariel is our own now." That night, Ariel couldn't sleep again. She kept thinking about 500 motorcycles, 500 bikers, all because a deaf 13-year-old had run 3 miles to warn strangers. She got up and found Donna sitting on the back porch drinking coffee even though it was past midnight. Donna saw her and patted the chair beside her. Ariel sat. Donna typed, "Nervous about Saturday." Ariel nodded. "Donna, don't be. These are good people. Rough around the edges, sure. But good. They take care of their own. And you're one of their own now." Ariel typed, "I don't understand why. I just did what anyone would do." Donna's laugh was silent, but Ariel could see her shoulders shake. Kid, 99% of people would have walked past that van, would have assumed someone else would handle it, would have been too scared. But not you. You ran toward danger to save people you didn't even know. That's not normal. That's exceptional. Ariel looked down at her hands. "Donna, you know what the Guardian patch means?" Ariel shook her head. "Donna, Saturday's going to be overwhelming. Loud, not that you'll notice, crowded, intense. But I'll be right there with you. So will Burklaw. So will 500 bikers who owe you their lives." The next 3 days passed in a blur. Wednesday, Ariel enrolled in a new school closer to Donna's house. The counselor knew sign language and ASL interpreter named Mr. Rodriguez, who made Ariel feel seen for the first time in her academic life. Thursday, Sheriff Bradshaw called. The Iron Crusaders leadership had been indicted. Federal charges. RICO Act. The whole organization was going down. Friday, Donna took Ariel shopping, bought her new clothes, a new phone, a leather jacket that fit perfectly, and Saturday morning arrived like a thunderstorm. Ariel woke at dawn. Her stomach churned. Donna knocked and entered with breakfast on a tray. They ate in silence, comfortable silence, the kind that didn't need words. At 10 o'clock, they heard the first motorcycles. Ariel looked out the window. 2 bikes pulling up the driveway. Then 5. Then 10. Donna came up behind her, typed, "They're starting to arrive. You ready?" Ariel wasn't, but she nodded anyway. They drove into Cinder Valley together, Donna on her motorcycle, Ariel riding behind her, arms wrapped tight around Donna's waist. The main street was already lined with motorcycles, hundreds of them, chrome gleaming in the desert sun, leather-clad bikers standing in groups, talking, laughing. When Donna's bike appeared, conversation stopped. Heads turned. Ariel felt every eye on her. Donna parked in front of the rusty chain, helped Ariel off the bike, removed her helmet. Burklaw appeared from the crowd. Behind him, Silver, red beard, a dozen other bikers Ariel recognized from Tuesday. Burklaw typed, "You good?" Ariel nodded even though her knees felt like water. More motorcycles arrived. The rumble was constant now. Ariel couldn't hear it, but she felt it in her bones, in her chest, in her teeth. 50 bikes. 100, 200. The street filled completely. Motorcycles parked in every available space. Bikers everywhere. Men and women, young and old, all wearing the Hells Angels insignia. At noon, Burklaw raised his hand. The crowd fell silent, or so Ariel assumed from the way everyone stopped moving. Burklaw typed on his phone and held it up high enough for everyone nearby to see brothers and sisters. "We're here today to honor someone special, someone brave, someone who saved our lives." He turned to Ariel, held out his hand. Ariel's heart hammered, but she took his hand and let him lead her to the center of the street. 500 bikers formed a circle around her. 500 pairs of eyes watching, waiting. Burklaw pulled something from his vest pocket, another patch, but this one was different, larger, more ornate. It showed 2 wings spread wide. Between them, a shield with the Hells Angels insignia. Below that, embroidered in silver thread, Guardian Angel. Burklaw typed, "This is the highest honor we can give a civilian. It means your family. It means we protect you, always, no matter what." He held out the patch. Ariel took it with shaking hands, looked at it, looked at Burklaw, looked at the 500 bikers surrounding her. Then something happened. One biker stepped forward and placed his hand over his heart. Then another. Then another. Within seconds, all 500 bikers had their hands over their hearts, heads bowed slightly, a gesture of respect so profound Ariel felt it like a physical weight. Tears streamed down her face. She clutched the patch to her chest and bowed her head in return. When she looked up, Donna was there, crying too. She pulled Ariel into a fierce hug. The bikers erupted into celebration. Ariel couldn't hear it, but she saw mouths open in cheers, fists pumped in the air, helmets thrown skyward. Silver appeared with a leather vest, cut off at the shoulders, the Hells Angels insignia on the back. He helped Ariel put it on. Then carefully, reverently, he attached the guardian angel patch to the front. It fit perfectly. The celebration continued all day. Food appeared from nowhere. Music played, not that Ariel could hear it, but she felt the bass vibrating through the ground. Bikers told stories with animated gestures that Ariel could follow even without words. As the sun began to set, painting the desert in gold and orange, Ariel stood with Donna on the steps of the rusty chain and looked out at the crowd. 500 people, here for her, because she'd run 3 miles to save strangers. Donna typed, "How do you feel?" Ariel thought about it. About the fear, the running, the danger, Dale's threats, the uncertainty, and she thought about this moment, these people, this family she'd found in the most unlikely place. She typed back, "Like I finally belong somewhere." Donna smiled, squeezed her shoulder. Burklaw climbed the steps to join them. He had one more message on his phone. The Iron Crusaders are finished. The FBI took down 43 members yesterday, including their national president. It's over. Ariel's knees went weak with relief. Burklaw, but more importantly, you're safe now. We made sure of it. The Hells Angels don't forget their debts, and we owe you everything. As darkness fell and the bikers began to disperse, heading to hotels or camping in the desert, Ariel realized something. She'd started the week as an invisible deaf girl nobody noticed. She was ending it as a guardian angel protected by 500 bikers who'd die before letting harm come to her. Her life hadn't just changed, it had been completely transformed. And somehow, impossibly, she was ready for whatever came next. Monday morning arrived too fast. Ariel stood in front of the mirror in Donna's bathroom, staring at her reflection. The girl looking back wore a leather vest with the guardian angel patch, wore confidence she didn't feel. Donna appeared in the doorway, typed on her phone, "First day at new school." Nervous, Ariel nodded. Her stomach was doing backflips. "Donna want me to ride you there." Ariel hesitated. Showing up on the back of a motorcycle with a Hells Angels member might not be the best way to blend in. But then again, when had she ever blended in? She typed back, "Yes." They pulled up to Desert Vista Middle School at 7:45. Students milled around the entrance. Conversations stopped as Donna's Harley rumbled into the parking lot. Ariel climbed off, removed her helmet, felt every eye on her vest. Donna typed, "I'll be here at 3. You need me before that, you call. Understand?" Ariel nodded. Donna, and Ariel, "Hold your head up. You're not the same girl who left your old school last week." Ariel watched Donna right away. Then she turned toward the school entrance. Students parted like water as she walked through. The whispers started immediately. Ariel couldn't hear them, but she could see mouths moving behind hands, fingers pointing at her vest. Her mouth moved slowly. "Welcome, Ariel. We're glad to have you." Ariel took a seat near the back. Students stared, whispered. One girl, blonde, pretty, wearing too much makeup, leaned over to her friend. Her lips formed words Ariel caught, "That biker girl." The morning crawled. Math class, English, history. In every class, the stares continued. The whispers, the pointing. At lunch, Ariel sat alone in the cafeteria. Mr. Rodriguez had other students to help. She pulled out her phone and picked at her sandwich. A tray slammed down across from her. Ariel looked up. A boy, maybe 14, tall, skinny, with braces and a basketball jersey. His mouth moved. "You're the girl from the news." Ariel nodded slowly. The boy sat down uninvited, pulled out his phone and typed, "I'm Marcus." "You really saved those bikers," Ariel typed back. "Yes." "Marcus, that's so cool. Everyone's talking about you." "Ariel," I noticed. Marcus grinned. Typed, "Can I sit here? I promise I'm not weird." "Well, not too weird." Ariel felt the corner of her mouth twitch. Typed, "Sure." 2 girls approached. One was the blonde from homeroom. The other had dark skin and box braids. The blonde's mouth moved. "Is it true your mom's boyfriend was arrested?" Ariel's stomach clenched. She nodded. The rest of lunch passed with Marcus Taylor and Jasmine asking questions. Some she answered, some she deflected. But for the first time since arriving at Desert Vista, she didn't feel completely alone. After school, Donna was waiting in the parking lot. Ariel climbed on behind her. As they pulled away, Donna's phone buzzed. She pulled over to check it. Her face went pale. She showed Ariel the screen. A text from an unknown number. The girl dies. Tell Burklaw. Ariel's blood turned to ice. Donna immediately called Burklaw. Ariel watched her face cycle through anger, fear, determination. When she hung up, she typed, "We're going to the clubhouse. Now." The Hells Angels clubhouse was 30 minutes outside Cinder Valley, a compound surrounded by chain-link fence. Guard at the gate. Security cameras everywhere. Burklaw met them at the entrance. His face was stone. He took Donna's phone, read the message. His jaw tightened. Burklaw typed to the group, "Iron Crusaders leadership is in federal custody. But there are still soldiers out there, pissed off soldiers who want revenge." Silver spoke up. His mouth moved and someone translated on a phone for Ariel. "We need to increase security. Guard rotations, eyes on Ariel 24/7. Redbeard. What about school? Can't exactly station bikers in the hallways." Burklaw thought. Typed, "We can do exactly that. I'll talk to the principal. Explain the situation. Security threat. Will volunteer as campus security. Donna will." The school go for that. Burklaw's smile was grim. After what happened Saturday, after 500 Hells Angels showed up to honor a student, yeah, they'll go for it. That night, Ariel lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Every shadow looked like a threat. Every creak of the house settling made her heart race. A knock on her door. Donna entered and sat on the edge of the bed. She typed, "Can't sleep." Ariel shook her head. "Donna, me neither. But I want you to know something. There are 3 bikers outside right now, rotating shifts. Nobody's getting near this house." "Ariel, for how long, Donna?" "Oh, as long as it takes, Ariel." "I'm scared." Donna pulled Ariel into a hug. "Me too, kid. Me too." He typed frantically. "Found them. 3 Iron Crusaders. Holed up in a motel in Elko. FBI's moving in now." Burklaw immediately made calls. Ariel watched tension drain from the room. As word came back, all 3 arrested without incident. Burklaw typed to Ariel, "That's the last of them. The last known Iron Crusaders in Nevada. It's over." But Ariel couldn't shake the feeling it wasn't. Not really. 2 days later, she was proven right. Sunday afternoon, Ariel and Donna were at the clubhouse for a barbecue. Bikers and their families filled the yard. Kids ran around playing. Music played from speakers. Ariel sat with Marcus Taylor, and Jasmine Donna had invited them, figuring Ariel needed normal teenage friends. They were eating burgers when Circuit came running from the main building. His face was white. He grabbed Burklaw's arm, pulled him aside, showed him his phone. Burklaw's expression went from relaxed to lethal in seconds. He typed something and held it up for everyone to see, everybody inside. Now, the yard emptied in 30 seconds. Bikers grabbed children. Families hurried into the clubhouse. The door slammed shut. Burklaw typed to the group, "Got intel, Iron Crusaders from California chapter. 20 of them heading here. Armed. Take 15 minutes." Panic rippled through the crowd. "Silver, how did they find us?" Circuit typed, "Someone talked. Someone in custody cut a deal with them instead of the feds." Donna pulled Ariel close. Marcus Taylor and Jasmine huddled together, eyes wide. Burklaw was already barking orders. Men moved to windows, locked doors, drew weapons from hidden locations. Someone called 911. Sheriff's Department was 20 minutes out. The FBI even farther. Ariel's mind raced. 20 armed men, against maybe 15 bikers here. Women and children trapped inside. This was her fault. All of it. If she'd just walked past that van, if she'd minded her own business. Donna's hand squeezed her shoulder. When Ariel looked up, Donna was shaking her head. She typed, Don't you dare blame yourself." Outside engines rumbled. Ariel felt the vibration through the floor. Motorcycles, lots of them. But these weren't friendly. Circuit peered through a crack in the blinds. Typed, "They're here." 20 bikes, armed to the teeth. Burklaw moved to the front door. He was armed now. So were Redbeard, Silver, and 6 others. Then something unexpected happened. More engines, more vibrations. Circuit's eyes widened. He typed, more bikes coming. From the east. Everyone froze. Burke Claw ours or theirs. Circuit stared out the window. Typed, can't tell yet. The tension was suffocating. Ariel could barely breathe. Then Circuit laughed. Actually laughed. Typed, it's ours. It's our brothers from Arizona and California chapters. Confusion rippled through the room. Burklaw typed, how many Circuit 50? Maybe 60. Redbeard. How'd they know? Circuit grinned. I sent out a distress call the second I got the intel. They must have been close already. Outside, the Iron Crusaders realized they were suddenly outnumbered 3-1. Ariel couldn't hear it, but she could see through the window as they hesitated. Engines revved. Some started to turn around. Too late. The Arizona and California Hells Angels surrounded them, blocked their exit. Sheriff Bradshaw's vehicles appeared moments later, lights flashing, 6 patrol cars. The Iron Crusaders had nowhere to go. Ariel watched through the window as 20 men were forced off their bikes, hands zip-tied behind backs, weapons confiscated. The whole thing took 8 minutes. When it was over, Burklaw opened the clubhouse door. Fresh air rushed in. People started breathing again. Sheriff Bradshaw approached. His mouth moved to Burklaw. Nobody hurt. Burklaw shook his head. Sheriff Bradshaw looked past him to where Ariel stood. His expression was a mix of sympathy and exasperation. He typed on his phone, kid, you have caused me more paperwork in 2 weeks than I've had in my entire career. Ariel managed a weak smile. That night, Donna tucked Ariel into bed like she was 6 years old instead of 13. She typed, 20 Iron Crusaders arrested. The California chapter's leadership is scrambling. FBI is shutting down their entire operation. It's really over this time. Ariel wanted to believe her. Typed, promise, Donna, promise. But Ariel still couldn't sleep. She lay awake listening to the house settle, to Donna's footsteps down the hall, to the bikers stationed outside. At 2 in the morning, her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Ariel's heart stopped. She almost didn't open it, almost called for Donna, but she looked. The message read, your mother wants to see you. Ariel stared at the screen. Her mother, who'd chosen Dale over her, who'd stood by while Dale threatened her, who hadn't called once since Ariel left. She typed back, who is this? The response came immediately. CPS social worker. Your mother's requesting supervised visitation. Are you willing? Ariel's hand shook. She didn't know what she felt. Anger, sadness, curiosity. She typed, I need to think about it. The response, of course, call Mrs. Chen when you decide. Ariel set her phone down, stared at the ceiling. Did she want to see her mother? The woman who'd given birth to her but never really seen her. Who'd let boyfriend after boyfriend push Ariel further into the background. She didn't know. Morning came without sleep. Donna took one look at Ariel's face and knew something was wrong. Over breakfast, Ariel showed her the texts. Donna read them, set the phone down, typed, what do you want to do, Ariel? I don't know. Donna, there's no wrong answer here. If you want to see her, we'll make it happen. If you don't, that's okay too, Ariel. What would you do? Donna thought for a long moment, typed, I'd ask myself one question. Will seeing her help me heal, or will it set me back? Ariel didn't have an answer. At school, she told Marcus, Taylor, and Jasmine about the text. They ate lunch in their usual spot while she waited for their reactions. Taylor typed, your mom sounds terrible. Why would you want to see her? Jasmine elbowed Taylor. Typed, that's not helpful. Then to Ariel, do you miss her? Ariel thought about it. Typed, I miss having a mom. I don't know if I miss her specifically. Marcus, that's deep, but real. The 3 of them helped Ariel make a pros and cons list. By the end of lunch, she'd decided she'd see her mother, once, in a controlled setting, just to see if there was anything left worth saving. Mrs. Chen arranged it for Saturday. Supervised visitation at the CPS office. 1 hour. Donna drove Ariel there. Burklaw insisted on coming too. They sat in the waiting room while Ariel went into the meeting room. Her mother sat at a table. She looked smaller than Ariel remembered. Older, tired, her hair was unwashed, her clothes wrinkled. She looked up when Ariel entered. Her mouth moved, baby. Ariel sat down across from her, pulled out her phone. Her mother tried to reach across the table, but Ariel pulled back. Her mother's face crumpled. She typed on a phone the social worker provided, I'm so sorry. For everything, for Dale, for not protecting you, for not being the mother you deserved. Ariel read the words, felt nothing. Typed back, why didn't you stop him? Her mother, I was scared. He said he'd leave if I took your side. I didn't want to be alone again. Ariel, so you chose him over me. Her mother's tears fell onto the table. Yes, and I'll regret it every day for the rest of my life. They sat in silence for a long moment. Ariel typed, are you staying with Dale? Her mother. He's in prison. I filed for divorce. Are you good? Her mother. Can you forgive me? Ariel looked at this woman who'd brought her into the world but never really fought for her. Who'd let her become invisible because it was easier than standing up. She typed, not today, maybe not ever, but I'll think about it. Her mother nodded, wiped her eyes. Typed, that's more than I deserve. They spent the rest of the hour in stilted conversation. Her mother asked about school, about Donna, about the bikers. Ariel answered briefly, kept her distance, protected herself. When the hour ended, her mother stood. Typed, I love you, I always have. Even when I didn't show it. Ariel stood too. Typed, I know. Then she walked out without looking back. In the waiting room, Donna took one look at Ariel's face and stood, wrapped her in a hug. Didn't ask questions, just held on. Burklaw typed, you okay? Ariel nodded against Donna's shoulder. She wasn't okay, but she would be. That night, Donna made hot chocolate. They sat on the back porch under the stars. Donna typed, I'm proud of you today. Ariel, why I barely talked to her. Donna, you showed up. You faced something hard. You protected your heart while still being willing to listen. That takes strength. Ariel sipped her hot chocolate. Typed, I don't think I can have her in my life. Not right now, maybe not ever. Donna, then don't. You get to choose your family. And you've already got a pretty good one. Ariel looked at Donna, at this woman who'd taken in a scared deaf kid and given her a home. Safety, love. She typed, yeah, I do. Monday at school, word had spread about the Iron Crusaders' attack attempt. Students looked at Ariel with a mixture of awe and fear. Taylor typed during lunch, people are saying you're in a gang. Ariel, I'm not in a gang. Marcus, the Hells Angels technically aren't a gang. They're a motorcycle club. Jasmine, is there a difference? Marcus launched into an explanation. Ariel tuned out. She was tired of being the center of attention, tired of being the girl with a dramatic life. She just wanted to be normal, to do homework and complain about tests and gossip about crushes. But normal wasn't in the cards for her, not anymore. After school, Donna was waiting, but she wasn't alone. Burklaw was there, and Silver, and Redbeard. Ariel's stomach dropped. Something was wrong. She climbed on behind Donna. They rode to the clubhouse in tense silence. Inside, 20 bikers waited. Circuit had multiple laptops open. Maps covered the walls. Burklaw typed, we found something. Something big. He turned a laptop to face Ariel. On the screen was a photograph. A man in his 50s. Bald, cold eyes, expensive suit. Burklaw typed, this is Victor Reeves, international president of the Iron Crusaders. He's been operating from Mexico for the past 5 years, outside FBI jurisdiction. Ariel, okay, Burklaw. He just put out a hit. On you. $50,000 to whoever brings him proof you're dead. The room spun. Ariel grabbed the table to steady herself. Donna typed, how do we stop him, Circuit? We can't. Not directly. He's untouchable in Mexico, Silver. So what do we do? Burklaw's smile was cold. We make him come to us. Ariel's blood ran cold. She typed, how? Burklaw, we spread the word. Let every bounty hunter and hitman know that if they want that $50,000, they'll have to go through 500 Hells Angels. We make you the most protected person in Nevada. Make it clear that touching you means declaring war on the entire club. Redbeard. And when word gets back to Victor that his bounty's worthless, Burklaw, he'll get desperate, make mistakes, and when he does, we'll be waiting. Ariel looked around the room at these hardened men and women who were willing to risk everything. For her, a deaf 13-year-old who'd just been in the wrong place at the right time. She typed, this is crazy, Donna. Welcome to the family, kid. And despite everything, the threats, the fear, the impossible situation, Ariel felt something unexpected. She felt home. The bounty changed everything overnight. By Wednesday morning, Ariel had a 4-person escort to school. 2 bikers walked ahead of her. two behind. Students pressed against lockers to let them pass. Marcus met her at her locker, typed frantically, "There are armed bikers everywhere. What's going on?" Ariel hesitated, then typed, "Someone put a hit on me." Marcus's eyes went wide, like in the movies. "An actual hit," Ariel nodded. Taylor and Jasmine appeared seconds later. Taylor's mouth was already moving before she pulled out her phone. "My dad said there's a Mexican cartel boss who wants you dead. Is that true?" Ariel typed. "Not a cartel, motorcycle club." "But yes," Jasmine grabbed Ariel's arm. "This is insane. You need to go into witness protection or something." "Ariel, the Hells Angels are my protection." The three of them exchanged looks. Marcus finally typed, "So what happens now?" "Ariel, we wait and hope nobody's stupid enough to try." Someone was. Thursday afternoon, Ariel was in English class when Principal Hayes burst through the door. His face was white. He gestured frantically to Mr. Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez's hands moved in quick signs. "Lock down, now, everyone away from windows." Students scrambled. Desks scraped. Someone whimpered. Ariel's heart hammered. She pulled out her phone, texted Donna what's happening. The response came immediately. "Man with a rifle spotted on the roof across the street. Stay down, bikers are handling it." Ariel showed the message to Mr. Rodriguez. He signed to the class, "Stay calm, police are on the way." Through the classroom window, Ariel saw movement. 3 bikers scaling the building across the street. Fast, efficient, like they'd done this before. One of them reached the roof, disappeared over the edge. 30 seconds later, a man was being dragged down the fire escape, hands zip-tied, rifle confiscated. Sheriff Bradshaw's vehicle screeched into the parking lot. Deputies poured out. The whole thing took 4 minutes. Principal Hayes's hands shook as he made the announcement over the PA system. Mr. Rodriguez signed, "Threat neutralized, lockdown lifted, classes resume in 10 minutes." Students erupted in nervous chatter. Ariel sat frozen at her desk. Marcus typed, "That was the craziest thing I've ever seen." Taylor, "Those bikers just climbed a building like it was nothing." Jasmine looked at Ariel. "How are you so calm?" Ariel typed, "I'm not. I'm terrified." After school, Burklaw was waiting instead of Donna. His face was stone. He typed, "We need to talk." They went to the clubhouse. The man from the roof was there, zip-tied to a chair. His face was bloody. He'd put up a fight. Burklaw typed to Ariel, "Stay back." Then he approached the man. Even without hearing, Ariel could tell the conversation was intense. The man's mouth moved rapidly. Burklaw's jaw tightened. Redbeard stood behind the man, arms crossed. Finally, Burklaw returned to where Ariel stood with Donna. He typed, "Bounty hunter from Arizona. Said the 50,000 was worth the risk." Donna, "What did he tell you?" Burklaw, "There are 6 more coming, all planning to hit within the next 72 hours. They think if they work together, they can overwhelm our security." Ariel felt sick. Type 6 Burklaw nodded grimly. Victor Reeves spread the word wide. Every lowlife with a gun thinks they can cash in. Circuit appeared from the back room, typed rapidly. "Just intercepted chatter on the dark web. A coordinated assault. Tomorrow night. They're planning to hit Donna's house." Donna's face went pale. She pulled Ariel close. Burklaw typed, "Then we move her. Tonight. Somewhere they can't find." Silver stepped forward. "Where they've got eyes everywhere." Redbeard, "What about the safe house in Carson City?" Burklaw shook his head. "Too obvious. They'll check all our known locations." An older biker Ariel didn't recognize spoke up. His road name was Nomad. He typed on his phone, "I've got a place. Off-grid cabin in the Sierras. Nobody knows about it. No phone signal, no internet, just propane in well water." Burklaw, "How far, Nomad?" 3 hours. Middle of nowhere. Burklaw looked at Ariel. "You up for this?" Ariel wanted to say no, wanted to wake up from this nightmare, but she typed, "Do I have a choice, Burklaw, always? But this is the safest option." Ariel nodded. They left within the hour. Ariel, Donna, Burklaw, Redbeard, and Nomad, 5 motorcycles heading into the mountains. No phones, no trackers, no trail. The ride was brutal. Cold wind, winding roads, darkness falling fast. Ariel clung to Donna's back and tried not to think about how far they were from civilization. 3.5 hours later, they pulled up to a cabin that looked abandoned. Nomad unlocked the door. Inside was Spartan but clean. 2 bedrooms, a wood stove, canned food in the pantry. Burke Claw typed, "This'll do. Redbeard and I will take first watch. Nomad, your relief at 0300. Donna got Ariel settled in one of the bedrooms. Typed, try to sleep. We're safe here." But Ariel couldn't sleep. She lay in the dark listening to the wind in the trees, to footsteps outside as the bikers patrolled, to her own racing heartbeat. At some point, exhaustion won. She drifted off. She woke to Donna shaking her shoulder. Sunlight streamed through the window. Donna's face was tight with worry. She typed, "Circuit got a message through on the satellite phone. The 6 bounty hunters hit your school last night." Ariel's stomach dropped. "What?" "Donna, nobody was hurt. The bikers we left behind caught them. All 6 arrested. But Ariel, they had floor plans, class schedules, photos of you. They'd been planning this for days." Ariel felt bile rise in her throat. "Type, my friends, are they okay?" "Donna, everyone's fine. School's closed for the rest of the week while they investigate." Ariel sank onto the bed. This was insane. People were trying to kill her, planning assaults on her school, all for $50,000. Donna sat beside her. "Type, Burklaw's calling in reinforcements. Every Hells Angels chapter west of the Mississippi is sending people. We're going to end this." Ariel, how Donna? "By making Victor Reeves' life so difficult, he withdraws the bounty." That afternoon, Burklaw gathered everyone in the cabin's main room. He had a satellite phone pressed to his ear. When he hung up, he typed, "Change of plans. Victor Reeves just crossed into the United States." Everyone froze. Redbeard typed, "What?" "Why would he do that, Burklaw?" "Because he's arrogant. Thinks he's untouchable. He's in El Paso meeting with what's left of the Iron Crusaders leadership. FBI's been tracking him for hours. Nomad, this is our chance." Burklaw nodded. "FBI's planning to grab him tonight." But there's a complication. He turned the phone to show them a news article. The headline read, "Iron Crusaders plan massive retaliation against Hell's Angels." Circuit typed, "They're planning something big. Simultaneous attacks on multiple clubhouses across Nevada, Arizona, and California. Donna wins Circuit tomorrow night." Ariel watched the color drain from Burklaw's face. He typed, "We need to get back. Warn everyone. Prepare defenses. Nomad." "What about Ariel?" Burklaw looked at her, then at Donna. Typed, "She comes with us, safer in numbers. And if tomorrow night goes sideways, I want her where we can protect her." They packed fast, left the cabin within 20 minutes. The ride back was even more intense, faster, more urgent. They pulled into the Cinder Valley Clubhouse at dusk. The parking lot was already full. Motorcycles from 6 different states, bikers everywhere, armed, ready. Inside the meeting room was packed. 30 people crowded around the table. More stood against the walls. Burklaw took command immediately. His phone became the voice for everyone. He typed and held it up for all to see. "Victor Reeves is in FBI custody, arrested 2 hours ago. But the Iron Crusaders don't know yet. They're still planning their attack." "Silver, how many are we looking at?" Circuit pulled up intel on his laptop. 40 to 50 Iron Crusaders, spread across 8 locations. They're planning to hit simultaneously at midnight. Redbeard, "So we evacuate, get civilians out, fortify positions." Burklaw, "We go on offense." The room erupted in murmurs. Burklaw held up his hand for silence. He typed, "FBI's given us locations of all Iron Crusaders staging areas. They're giving us 2 hours to handle this ourselves before they move in." Donna, "Why would the FBI let us handle it?" Burklaw's smile was cold. "Because they know we'll do it cleaner and faster. And because technically we're preventing crimes before they happen. The plan came together quickly, teams assigned, locations designated, communications established." Ariel sat in the corner with Donna, watching hardened bikers transform into a military operation. Marcus texted her, "Are you okay? School's been crazy. Police everywhere." Ariel typed back, "I'm safe. Can't explain right now. I'll call you when this is over." Taylor, "My dad said there's going to be a huge bust tonight. Says to stay inside. Jasmine, please be careful." Ariel pocketed her phone, looked up at Donna, typed, "What happens to me during all this?" Donna, "You stay here, in the most secure room with 5 guards. Ariel, "I don't want to hide." Donna's expression was firm. "Too bad. This isn't a debate." At 11 o'clock, the bikers rolled out, 40 motorcycles, armed and ready. The rumble shook the clubhouse foundation. Ariel watched from the window until they disappeared. Then Donna led her to a reinforced room in the back. Concrete walls, steel door, no windows. 5 bikers stood guard outside, all armed, all stone-faced. Ariel and Donna sat on a bench inside, waiting. Donna's phone was the only link to the outside. 11:30. Donna's phone buzzed. She read the message. Type to Ariel, first team's in position. 11:45. Another message, all teams ready. Midnight. Radio silence. Ariel's heart hammered. Every second felt like an hour. 12:15. Donna's phone exploded with messages. She read them rapidly. Her face cycled through relief, pride, satisfaction. She showed Ariel first location secured, 8 Iron Crusaders in custody, no shots fired. 12:20 second location, 6 arrested. 12:30, third and fourth locations, 12 more. By 1 in the morning it was over. All 8 staging areas raided. 43 Iron Crusaders arrested, 0 casualties on either side. Burklaw's message came through, FBI's taking custody. It's finished. Donna pulled Ariel into a crushing hug. They sat there in the reinforced room holding each other as the magnitude of what just happened sank in. The Iron Crusaders were done. Finished. Their leadership in federal prison, their soldiers arrested. Their entire organization dismantled. When they emerged from the secure room, bikers were returning. Tired, sweaty, but smiling. Redbeard saw Ariel and gave her a thumbs up. Silver ruffled her hair as he walked past. Burklaw was the last to arrive. He looked exhausted but triumphant. He walked straight to Ariel and typed, "It's over. Really over. Victor Reeves is facing life in prison. The bounty's been withdrawn. You're safe." Ariel's knees buckled. Donna caught her, held her up as tears streamed down Ariel's face. She was safe. After weeks of terror and threats and constant vigilance, she was actually safe. The celebration lasted until dawn. Bikers shared stories, relived the night's victories, toasted to fallen brothers and new family. Ariel fell asleep on a couch in the clubhouse surrounded by people who'd risked everything for her. When she woke, sunlight streamed through the windows. The clubhouse was quiet. Most bikers had gone home or were sleeping it off in back rooms. Donna sat nearby watching her. She smiled when Ariel's eyes opened. Typed, "Morning, kiddo." Ariel sat up, rubbed her eyes, typed, "Is it really over, Donna?" "Really, truly over." Sheriff Bradshaw called. FBI's prosecuting 78 people. Between the original attack, the bounty hunters, and last night's raids, the Iron Crusaders are history. Ariel let that sink in. History, gone, finished. She typed, "So what happens now?" Donna's smile widened. "Now you get to be a normal teenager. Go to school, complain about homework, obsess over boys or girls, or whoever catches your eye. Be boring," Ariel laughed. The sound felt foreign after so much tension. She typed, "I think I'd like boring." Monday morning, Ariel returned to Desert Vista Middle School. No escorts, no armed bikers, just her and Donna on one motorcycle. Students stared as she walked through the entrance. But this time it felt different. Less afraid, more awed. Marcus Taylor and Jasmine mobbed her at her locker. Marcus typed, "You're famous, like actually famous. You're trending on Twitter." Ariel. What Taylor showed her phone. The hashtag Guardian Angel Girl was everywhere. Articles about the deaf girl who saved bikers, who survived assassination attempts, who helped take down an entire criminal organization. Jasmine. There are reporters asking for interviews. TV shows want you on. Ariel felt overwhelmed. Typed, "I don't want to be famous. I just want to be normal." Taylor. Too late for that. Principal Hayes called Ariel to his office during second period. She expected trouble. Instead, he stood when she entered, extended his hand. Mr. Rodriguez signed. "He says you're the bravest person he's ever met, and he wants to make sure you know you're safe here, always." Ariel shook his hand, felt tears prick her eyes. That afternoon, Sheriff Bradshaw visited the school. He found Ariel in the cafeteria and sat down across from her. He typed on his phone, "I've got news. Victor Reeves cut a deal. He's giving the FBI everything. Names, operations, money trails. In exchange, he's looking at 20 years instead of life. Ariel, is that good?" Sheriff Bradshaw, "It's better than him getting out. And it means every person connected to the Iron Crusaders is going down. We're talking hundreds of arrests across multiple countries. Ariel, because I ran to warn some bikers, Sheriff Bradshaw smiled. Because you did the right thing when everyone else would have walked past. Never underestimate how rare that is. That weekend, the Hells Angels threw a party. Not a celebration of victory, a celebration of family. 200 bikers showed up. Kids ran around the clubhouse yard. Music played. Food covered every surface. Ariel stood with Marcus Taylor, and Jasmine Donna had invited them again. The four teenagers watched bikers line dance and laughing live. Marcus typed, "This is the coolest thing I've ever been to, Taylor. My dad's going to freak when I tell him I hung out with Hells Angels." Jasmine, "Are they always this nice?" Ariel typed, "To family, yes." As the sun set, Burke Claw called for everyone's attention. The crowd quieted. He typed on his phone and held it high. 3 weeks ago, a 13-year-old girl saved our lives. She didn't owe us anything. But she ran 3 miles to warn us anyway. People nodded, clapped. Burke Claw continued, "Today, thanks to her courage, 78 criminals are in custody. An entire organization is destroyed. And most importantly, she's safe." The crowd erupted in cheers. Ariel felt her face burn red. Burke Claw wasn't finished, Ariel Brooks. "You're officially a lifetime member of this family. You need anything at all, you call. Understand?" Ariel nodded, wiped her eyes. Silver appeared with a package wrapped in leather. He handed it to Ariel with a small bow. Inside was a new vest, custom made to fit her perfectly. The Guardian Angel patch was already sewn on, but there was something new. On the back, embroidered in silver thread, Ariel, Guardian Angel, Hells Angels, Nevada. Full colors, full membership, the highest honor a civilian could receive. Ariel put it on. It fit like it was made for her. Because it was. The bikers erupted again, cheering, whistling, stomping. Donna stood beside her, tears streaming down her face. She typed, "Proud doesn't even begin to cover it." That night after the party wound down and most bikers had gone home, Ariel sat on the clubhouse steps with Burke Claw. He typed, "You changed everything, you know that, Ariel. I just did what anyone should do." Burke Claw, "But nobody else did." That's the point. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting despite it. You were terrified that day. I could see it in your eyes. But you ran anyway. Ariel thought about that, about the fear, the running, the uncertainty. She typed, "I couldn't let people die." Burke Claw, "Most people could, most people do. They see something wrong and convince themselves it's not their problem. You didn't. And now 78 families are safer because of you, Ariel. It doesn't feel real." Burke Claw, "Give it time. One day you'll look back and understand the magnitude of what you did. Until then, just know we've got your back. Forever." Monday brought unexpected news. Mrs. Chen called Donna requesting a meeting. They gathered at the CPS office, Ariel, Donna, Mrs. Chen, and a lawyer Ariel didn't recognize. Mrs. Chen typed, "Your mother has agreed to terminate her parental rights voluntarily. She believes it's what's best for you." Ariel's chest tightened. Her mother, giving her up, officially. Mrs. Chen continued, "Donna has petitioned to adopt you. If you agree, we can fast-track the process. You could be legally her daughter within 6 months." Ariel looked at Donna, at this woman who'd given her everything. Safety, love, family. Donna typed, "No pressure. If you need time to think," Ariel didn't need time. She typed, "Yes, I want that." Donna's face crumpled. She pulled Ariel into her arms and held on like she'd never let go. The lawyer smiled, typed, "I'll start the paperwork." 3 months later, Ariel stood in a courtroom. Judge Martinez presided. Donna stood beside her, holding her hand. The judge's mouth moved. "Mr. Rodriguez signed, do you, Ariel Brooks, consent to this adoption?" Ariel signed yes. Judge Martinez smiled. Signed back, she knew, ASL. "Then by the power vested in me, I declare this adoption final. Ariel Brooks is now legally Ariel Varner Brooks, daughter of Donna Varner." The small crowd in the courtroom erupted. Burke Claw, Silver, Redbeard, Marcus, Taylor, Jasmine, Sheriff Bradshaw, Mrs. Chen, all there to witness. Donna pulled Ariel into another crushing hug, whispered against her hair, even though Ariel couldn't hear, "My daughter, my beautiful, brave daughter." That night they had a family dinner. Just Ariel and Donna, pizza and soda, and terrible reality TV. Normal, boring, perfect. Ariel's phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Her heart stopped. Then she read it. "This is your mom. I heard about the adoption. I'm happy for you. You deserve a better mother than me. Donna's lucky to have you. Take care of yourself. I love you." Ariel showed Donna the message. Donna typed, "You okay?" Ariel thought about it, about her biological mother, about the years of neglect, about the choice to give her up. She typed, "Yeah, I think I am." And she was. For the first time in her 13 years, Ariel Brooks now. Ariel Varner Brooks was exactly where she belonged. She had a mother who loved her, a family of bikers who'd die for her, friends who accepted her, a future that looked bright instead of terrifying. All because one afternoon she'd chosen to run toward danger instead of away from it, all because she'd refused to stay silent. And as she sat on Donna's couch, guardian angel vest hanging on the back of her chair, Ariel realized something profound. Being deaf had never made her weak. It had made her observant, aware, brave in ways hearing people never had to be. Her silence had become her strength, and that strength had saved lives, changed lives, built a family from strangers. Ariel smiled, typed to Donna, "Thank you for everything." Donna typed back, "Thank you for choosing to be my daughter. Best decision I ever made was opening that door to you." They sat together in comfortable silence. Mother and daughter, family. Outside, 3 motorcycles rumbled past. Security detail, still watching, still protecting. But Ariel wasn't afraid anymore. She was home. 6 months after the adoption, life had settled into something Ariel never thought possible. Routine, stability, peace. Then Marcus showed her the email during lunch. His hands shook as he held out his phone. Ariel read the message twice before it registered. 60 Minutes wants to interview you. National television. They're calling it The Girl Who Stopped a War. Producer says they'll pay for travel, put you up in a hotel, primetime slot. Taylor grabbed the phone. "This is huge, like life-changing, huge. Jasmine, are you gonna do it?" Ariel's stomach churned. She typed, "I don't know." That night, she showed Donna the email. They sat at the kitchen table, the letter between them like a live grenade. Donna typed, "What do you want to do, Ariel?" "Part of me wants to tell the real story. But part of me just wants to forget it all happened." Donna, there's no wrong answer. But I'll say this, your story could help people. Other kids who feel invisible, who think they can't make a difference. Ariel thought about that, about being invisible for 13 years, about finally being seen. She typed, "I'll do it, but only if you come with me." Donna smiled, wouldn't miss it. The interview was scheduled for 3 weeks later. New York City. Ariel had never been on a plane, never been out of Nevada. Burklaw insisted on accompanying them. So did Redbeard and Silver. The producer tried to object too many people, but Burklaw's response shut that down fast. He typed, "She goes nowhere without protection. Ever. That's non-negotiable." The producer agreed. The flight terrified Ariel. The vibrations, the pressure changes she could feel in her bones. Donna held her hand through takeoff and landing. New York was overwhelming. Too many people, too much movement. Ariel clung to Donna's arm as they navigated JFK Airport. The 60 Minutes crew met them at the hotel. A woman named Catherine Bradford, early 40s, sharp suit, kind eyes. She communicated through a professional ASL interpreter named David. Catherine signed, "Thank you for agreeing to this. Your story deserves to be told." The interview took place in a studio downtown. Cameras everywhere. Lights so bright Ariel had to squint. A makeup artist fussed over her for 20 minutes. Catherine sat across from Ariel. David positioned himself where Ariel could see his hands clearly. Catherine signed, "Let's start at the beginning. Tell me about that day." Ariel's hands moved slowly at first, hesitant. Then the story poured out. The walk home, the van, the armed men, the decision to run. Catherine's questions were gentle but probing. "What made you run toward danger instead of away?" Ariel signed, "I couldn't let people die. I just couldn't." Catherine, "You saved 30 lives that day. Did you know that in the moment?" Ariel, "I just knew I had to warn them." The interview lasted 2 hours. Ariel talked about Dale, about her mother, about the Hells Angels becoming her family, about being deaf and invisible and finally being seen. When it ended, Catherine signed, "You're incredibly brave. Thank you for sharing this." But the interview wasn't the end. That night, back at the hotel, Donna's phone exploded with messages. News outlets had gotten wind of the 60 Minutes piece. They wanted interviews too. Good Morning America, The Today Show, Ellen. Donna showed Ariel the messages, typed, "It's your choice, all of it, whatever you want to do." Ariel felt overwhelmed. Typed, "Can I think about it?" Donna, take all the time you need. They flew home the next day. Ariel was exhausted. She slept the entire flight with her head onto Donna's shoulder. When they landed in Reno, reporters were waiting. Cameras, microphones. Questions shouted that Ariel couldn't hear, but could see in the chaos. Burklaw and Redbeard formed a wall, got Ariel and Donna to the car, drove them home in tense silence. That night, Ariel made a decision. She typed to Donna, "No more interviews. I told my story. That's enough, Donna." "You sure, Ariel?" "I'm sure. I want my life back." Donna hugged her. "Then that's what you'll have." But the world had other plans. The 60 Minutes episode aired 2 weeks later. 20 million viewers, trending on every social media platform. Ariel's phone didn't stop buzzing. Friend requests, interview requests, people wanting to tell her their stories, people calling her a hero. Marcus texted, "You're viral, like seriously viral. There are memes." He sent a screenshot. Someone had made a guardian angel girl meme. It showed Ariel's face with the caption, "When you save 30 lives before algebra class." Ariel laughed despite herself. Typed back, "That's so weird. Taylor weird, but awesome. Own it." At school, everything changed again. Students who'd ignored her for months suddenly wanted to be her friend. Teachers treated her differently. The principal called her to his office. He typed, "The school board wants to give you an award. Civic courage. They want to do a whole assembly." Ariel's heart sank. "Do I have to?" Principal Hayes smiled. "Technically, no, but it would mean a lot to the students. Seeing that courage comes in all forms." Ariel thought about the kids like her, the invisible ones, the ones who felt like they didn't matter. She typed, "Okay, I'll do it." The assembly was scheduled for the following Friday. The entire school crammed into the gymnasium. Ariel stood backstage, palms sweating, stomach churning. Donna stood beside her. Typed, "You've faced armed men. You can handle teenagers." Ariel managed a weak smile. Principal Hayes called her name. Ariel walked onto the stage. The gymnasium erupted in applause she couldn't hear but could feel in the floor vibrations. She stood at the podium. Mr. Rodriguez positioned himself to interpret. Ariel's hands moved. "I'm not a hero. I'm just a girl who did what anyone should do. But most people don't, and I think that's the problem." She paused, gathered her courage. "For 13 years, I was invisible. People looked past me, through me, like I didn't exist. Being deaf made me different, and different meant invisible." Students leaned forward, listening. "But that day I realized something. Being different also made me brave. It made me see things others missed. It made me act when others hesitated." Her hands moved faster now, confident. "So if you feel invisible, if you feel like you don't matter, I'm here to tell you that you do. Your voice matters, even if it's silent like mine, especially if it's silent like mine. Because sometimes the quietest voices speak the loudest truths." The gymnasium exploded, students on their feet, teachers wiping their eyes, Principal Hayes beaming. Ariel felt tears stream down her face, but they were good tears, healing tears. After the assembly, students mobbed her, wanting to shake her hand, to sign "thank you" in clumsy ASL, to tell her their own stories of feeling invisible. One girl, a freshman with thick glasses and a stutter, typed on her phone, "You made me feel brave. Thank you." Ariel hugged her, typed back, "You already were brave. I just helped you see it." That weekend, something unexpected happened. The Hells Angels national president called Burklaw, asked to meet Ariel personally. Sonny Delgado, legend in the EMSA world. He was flying in from Oakland specifically to meet the girl who'd saved his brothers. Burklaw was nervous. Ariel could see it in his face. He typed, "Sonny doesn't do this, ever. This is unprecedented." "Donna, what does it mean, Burklaw?" "It means Ariel's impact reached the highest levels. It means she's not just Nevada family, she's national family." Sunday afternoon, Sonny Delgado arrived at the Cinder Valley Clubhouse. 70 years old, white beard, eyes that had seen everything, presence that commanded absolute respect. Every biker in the room stood straighter when he entered. Sonny walked directly to Ariel, held out his hand. Ariel shook it. His grip was firm but gentle. He pulled out his phone, typed, "I've been in this life for 52 years. I've seen a lot, but I've never seen courage like yours. A 13-year-old deaf girl taking on armed men to save strangers. That's special." Ariel didn't know what to say. Typed, "I just did what felt right, Sonny. That's exactly why it's special. Most people know what's right. Few actually do it." He reached into his vest and pulled out something Ariel had never seen before. A gold patch. The Hells Angels insignia encrusted with small diamonds. Sonny typed, "This is a lifetime achievement patch, given to members who've shown extraordinary service to the club. In 52 years, only 12 have been awarded. You're the first civilian, the first woman, the first teenager, the first deaf person. You're making history." He attached the patch to Ariel's vest himself. His hands were steady despite his age. When he finished, he stepped back and saluted. Every biker in the room followed suit. Ariel felt her knees go weak. Donna steadied her. Sonny typed, "You need anything anywhere in the country, you call. Every chapter knows your name. Every brother and sister will protect you with their lives. That's my word." That night, Ariel couldn't sleep. She kept touching the gold patch, kept thinking about how far she'd come, from invisible to invaluable, from nobody to family, from silent to heard. Donna knocked softly and entered. Sat on the edge of Ariel's bed. She typed, "Big day." Ariel nodded. Typed, "Sometimes." "I can't believe this is real." Donna, "Believe it. You earned every bit of it." Ariel, "I miss the quiet, though. Before all this, when life was simple." Donna, "Want to know a secret?" Ariel nodded. "Donna, life's never simple. It's just different kinds of complicated. Before you were invisible and struggling. Now you're seen and struggling with different things, but you're not alone anymore. That's the difference." When Ariel thought about that, about her old life, her mother, Dale, the loneliness, she typed, "You're right, this complicated is better." Monday brought another surprise. A letter from the Nevada State Assembly. They wanted to present Ariel with a citizenship award, a formal ceremony at the Capitol in Carson City. Taylor texted, "You're basically famous now. When do you get your own action figure?" Marcus, "I called dibs on the first autograph." Jasmine, "Seriously though, are you okay with all this attention?" Ariel typed to the group chat. "Honestly, it's overwhelming, but also kind of amazing. Like I matter." Taylor, "You always mattered. The world just took too long to notice." The ceremony at the state capitol was surreal. Politicians, cameras, a medal that felt too heavy in Ariel's hands. The governor signed as she spoke. She'd learned specifically for this occasion. Ariel represents the best of Nevada: courage, compassion, action in the face of danger. "We're honored to call her a citizen." The audience applauded. Ariel stood on the stage, overwhelmed, grateful, exhausted. Afterward, a woman approached, late 30s, professional clothes, kind smile. She typed on her phone, "I'm Sarah Chen, deaf advocate. I work with deaf youth across the state. Your story has inspired so many kids. Would you consider speaking at our annual conference?" Ariel hesitated, then thought about that freshman with the stutter, about feeling invisible. She typed, "Yes, I'd love to." The conference was 2 months later. 300 deaf and hard of hearing youth, ages 8 to 18, all looking at Ariel like she was a superhero. Ariel stood at the podium, hands moving in ASL. No interpreter needed here. This was her language, her people. She signed, "I used to think being deaf made me weak, made me less. But I was wrong. Being deaf gave me the power to see what others missed, to be brave in ways hearing people never have to be. Our silence isn't a weakness. It's a different kind of strength." A 10-year-old in the front row signed, "How did you get so brave?" Ariel signed back, "I didn't. I was terrified. But I acted anyway. Bravery isn't the absence of fear. It's doing what's right even when you're scared." A teenager in the back. "What if nobody listens to us, Ariel? Make them listen, not with words, with actions. Show the world what we're capable of. Force them to see us." The conference ended with standing ovations, kids swarming Ariel, asking questions, sharing stories, feeling seen. Sarah Chen signed to Ariel, "You've changed lives today. You know that, Dad?" Ariel signed back, "I hope so." That night, Ariel and Donna sat on the back porch under the stars. Peaceful, quiet. Donna typed, "Proud of you. Always." Ariel, "I couldn't have done any of this without you." Donna, "You did it all. I just gave you a safe place to land." Ariel, "That was everything." A motorcycle rumbled up the driveway. Burke Claw, he killed the engine and walked over. He typed, "Got news. Victor Reeves died in prison yesterday. Heart attack. He's gone." Ariel felt a weight lift she didn't know she'd been carrying. Typed, "It's really over then." Burke Claw, "Really truly over. No more threats. No more looking over your shoulder. You're free. Free." The word felt foreign. Ariel had been living in survival mode for so long, she'd forgotten what normal felt like. Burklaw continued. "Also, the club's establishing a scholarship fund, the Ariel Brooks Guardian Angel Scholarship, for deaf kids who want to go to college. We raised $50,000 already." Ariel's eyes went wide. "What?" Burklaw smiled. "Your story inspired a lot of people. They wanted to give back, help kids like you." Ariel couldn't speak, could only nod as tears fell. Burklaw typed, "First recipient's been selected. A 17-year-old deaf girl from Reno. She wants to be a nurse. Now she can, because of you." That night, lying in bed, Ariel thought about her journey. From invisible to inspirational. From victim to victor. From silent to powerful. She thought about the girl she'd been 6 months ago. Scared, alone, invisible. And she thought about the girl she was now. Loved, protected, seen. The next morning, Ariel woke to find Donna making pancakes. Their Sunday tradition. Over breakfast, Donna typed, "I've been thinking, what if we took a trip, just us? Somewhere you've always wanted to go." Ariel, "Really, where, Donna? Anywhere. Your choice." Ariel thought for maybe 3 seconds, "Washington, D.C. I want to see the Lincoln Memorial." Donna smiled. "Then that's where we'll go." 2 weeks later, they stood in front of the Lincoln Memorial. Ariel stared up at the massive statue, read the words carved into the walls. Donna typed, "Why Lincoln, Ariel? He freed people, made them seen, made them count. I feel like I understand that now." They spent a week in D.C., saw the monuments, visited the Smithsonian. Ariel stood in the Museum of American History and saw an exhibit on disability rights. Saw people like her who'd fought to be recognized, to matter. On their last day, they visited the Capitol, stood in the rotunda. A woman approached them, older, silver hair, congressional pin on her lapel. She typed on her phone, "Are you Ariel Brooks?" Ariel nodded. "The woman, I'm Representative Jackson. I saw your 60 Minutes interview. I want you to know you inspired me to introduce new legislation, funding for ASL interpreters in all public schools, better support for deaf students. It's called the Guardian Angel Education Act." Ariel's heart stopped. "Because of me. Representative Jackson, because of you. Your courage, your voice. You changed everything." Flying home, Ariel held Donna's hand and looked out the window. Clouds stretched to the horizon. Infinite possibilities. Donna typed, "You okay, Ariel?" "Better than okay. I finally understand." Donna, "Understand what, Ariel?" "Why it all happened, not just to save those bikers, but to show people, deaf people, invisible people, that we matter, that we can change the world." Donna squeezed her hand. "You already have." Back in Cinder Valley, life resumed its comfortable rhythm. School, friends, family dinners, bike rides with Donna through the desert. But Ariel was different now. Confident, purposeful. She started a club at school, Voices Unheard, for students who felt invisible. It grew to 40 members in 3 months. She volunteered at the Deaf Youth Center, mentored younger kids, showed them they weren't alone. She testified before the State Education Committee about the need for better ASL support in schools. Her words transmitted through interpreters changed policy. On her 14th birthday, the Hells Angels threw a party. 500 people showed up. Bikers from 12 states, families, friends. Burke Claw presented her with a custom motorcycle helmet, black with silver angel wings, her name embroidered on the back. He typed, "For when you're old enough to ride your own." Ariel hugged him. this man who'd become like a father to her. Silver gave her a leather journal, typed, "Write your story, the real story, not what the media says, your truth." Redbeard gave her a Swiss Army knife, typed for protection. "Hope you never need it, but just in case." Donna's gift was last, a framed photograph of the two of them on adoption day. Below it, a plaque that read, "Family isn't blood, it's choosing to love and be loved." Ariel cried, happy tears, healing tears, grateful tears. That night, surrounded by her chosen family, Ariel realized something profound. She'd spent 13 years invisible, believing she didn't matter. Then one afternoon, she'd made a choice. A split-second decision to run toward danger instead of away. That choice had saved lives, changed laws, inspired thousands, created a family from strangers. Her silence had become her superpower. Her invisibility had transformed into impact. Marcus stood up with his phone, typed toast time to Ariel, the bravest person I know. Taylor to Ariel, who proved that heroes come in all forms. Jasmine to Ariel, who showed us all what courage really means. Burklaw raised his beer to the guardian angel. May she always know how loved she is. 500 people raised their glasses. Ariel felt the vibration of their voices in her chest, felt the love washing over her in waves. She stood, signed so everyone could see Mr. Rodriguez interpreting aloud, "Thank you, all of you, for seeing me when I was invisible, for loving me when I felt unlovable, for showing me that family isn't about blood, it's about showing up, about protecting each other, about choosing to care." She paused, wiped her eyes. 6 months ago, I was a scared deaf girl who thought she didn't matter. Today I know better. I matter because I chose to act. I matter because I refuse to stay silent. And every single person here matters too. Never forget that. The crowd erupted. Ariel smiled through her tears. Later, as the party wound down and guests began to leave, Ariel stood with Donna watching the sun set over the desert. Donna typed, "Any regrets?" Ariel thought about everything. The fear, the danger, the chaos, the transformation. She typed, "Not one. I'd do it all again." Donna, even the scary parts, Ariel. Especially the scary parts. They made me who I am. They stood in comfortable silence. Mother and daughter, guardian and angel. Ariel's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. She almost didn't open it, but curiosity won. The message read, "I'm Emma. I'm 12 and deaf. I saw you on TV. You made me believe I can be brave too. Thank you for showing us we matter." Ariel showed Donna the message. Donna typed, "See you're changing lives every day." Ariel typed back to Emma, "You already are brave. You just needed someone to show you. Now go show someone else." That's how we change the world. She sent the message and pocketed her phone. The sun disappeared below the horizon. Stars began to emerge. The desert night settled in. Ariel took a deep breath, felt peace settle into her bones. She'd run 3 miles to save strangers. And in doing so, she'd saved herself. She'd found family, purpose, voice. Ariel Brooks now. Ariel Varner Brooks had started as nobody. She'd become somebody. Not because of what she could hear, but because of what she chose to see. Not because of what she could say, but because of what she chose to do. She was deaf. She was brave. She was loved. She was home. And her silence had never spoken louder.